I built 5,000 ninjas of bodyweight strength and skill, and this video will show you how to become one too. Whether you're a 15-year-old watching this at home trying to figure out how to build strength and real-world skills, or 50 years old trying to regain what you know in your heart is possible. And in this video, I'm going to show you a system for doing so from A to Z, even if you're a raw beginner or coming in off the bench. First, let's define what I mean by ninja. We've used this term for way longer than the TV show has been around, and we use it for way more than navigating obstacles. It's basically slang that means well-versed in what you're doing. And in Powerbatics, one of the elements is called ninja strength because it facilitates your ability to excel in any of the other elements, including free run, power moves, circ, and handstand. Second, let's look at how we structure training. Anything between 30 minutes and 90 minutes a day is good for a beginner. One thing I'll stress is to not get caught up in numbers. Try to apply general principles to your training. Use numbers as a tool here and there to monitor things, and then keep going. Don't overcomplicate. Once a person is pretty advanced, then 2 90-minute blocks a day seem to be a solid amount. The number of days per week is going to depend on the person too. We require at minimum 2 days per week as a student gets started, then eventually 3, then 4, then 5, and a typical block of training should include 6 elements: warm-up, strength, and then katas like routines and transitions training, plus individual skills, then flexibility, and then sharing wins and victories. Our warm-up has 10 minutes of running in different variations. Then it proceeds to 6 sections. We'll talk details later, but for now the sections are core, then back, then handstand variations, then legs, then wrists, then feet. The idea is to flow energy outwards through the limbs from the core until everything is ready. In all honesty, our warm-up is probably like most people's full workout. What most people make the mistake of doing is treating their entire workout like a warm-up, as intense as they may be. Here's what I mean. They might stretch for a minute or two, then do cardio, then strength, or combine it. Often people don't even do that, but essentially a mainstream workout covers just the very basics of actual training. The basics that should be covered in warm-up include some cardio, full body mobility, and even basic strength. And then what comes next is the actual strength training. In fact, we have a whole element of Powerbatics devoted to this strength, like I mentioned, called ninja strength. As I said elsewhere, everything can be considered skill. In strength, the skill is in the development of the many different angles and shapes to eventually arrive at the strength moves themselves. The standard 10 are the front lever row, planche push-up, one arm pull-up, handstand push-up, front lever, back lever, stalled or press handstand in the rings, human flag, one arm meat hook, and one arm reverse flag. Plus the single leg squat is a basic for leg strength and mobility. Obviously, you don't start with a 5-rounder of one arm pull-ups and single leg squats, which might be one of the strength protocols for an advanced level 8, 9, or 10 student. But you might start with 5 rounds of bridges coupled with 5 rounds of squat jumps. Another mistake people make is not differentiating their training like this. The easiest, least common denominator training is weights. Well, even underneath that would be machines. It's so easy, you can literally put instructions on the side of the equipment and it can be insured for the masses. And insurance companies don't play, so this stuff literally needs to be the safest, easiest stuff to use on earth. Otherwise, nobody would make any money. But if you're trying to be a ninja, it isn't as easy as putting the pin in the next rung down or slapping another plate on the bar. Take that example I gave of 2 different 5-rounders for strength. One is the one arm pull-ups and single leg squats. Maybe 3 reps on each side with a bunch of lazy resting on purpose in between. And the other 5-rounder is 20 bridge push-ups and 20 squat jumps back to back, no rest. Any idea why it might be structured that way? By the way, thanks for all your comments and super thanks, and for being part of the community. Obviously subscribe, but also you can opt in. It's totally free and you'll get access to me and my team, PDFs, email training, student stories, and special events like competitions for cash prizes and secret trips like Japan, California, Spain, and other cool places. But back to business. Why do you think it's structured that way? Let me dig even further. What would you do if you had rotator cuff or back issues? Bridge seems downright impossible, even though it's critical for your health. I can think of half a dozen different progressions that are intermediary between one arm pull-ups and bridges, and between bridges and laying flat on the ground too. The reason people get to the point that they can't even do a bridge anymore is because they forfeited what they were given as a child: flexibility. Kids keep it through play and random activities. In a culture of comfort zone and convenience, that flexibility and adaptability fades further and further. Eventually, people become incapable, and their brains and bodies can't handle anything outside their comfort zones. And there's even deeper principles here, especially especially if you start considering presuppositions, a Trinitarian worldview, and the shape of society. See why I always mention these things? It isn't age or even tightness. It's because of mindset and time. If you're 15 watching this, then take action now. Same thing if you're 50. All the same principles apply to us regardless of age. They're universal. It's actually a really good thing. And they have the same impact on the body given patience and time. And with that recipe, you can build flexibility and strength to ninja levels, and then even go way beyond that. And so sometimes objective eyes help to keep you accountable, but also even more importantly, see the blind spots that you don't see. Make sense? Okay, so another question for you. Any idea why I'd put bridge push-ups and one-arm pull-ups in two workouts of similar structure, but for different levels? Best answer gets 5,454 Pac-Rim coins. Quick pro tip. Beginners, after warm-up, always do strength first. If you have extra fuel in the tank, then go into skills. More advanced people try to put strength after skills. How do you differentiate? By more advanced, I mean you're doing inversions, tumbling, and actual full-on power moves, or anything with dynamic movement plus complexity. Basic vaults like speed and Kong vaults, rolls, aerial silks, and basic movement like that can be done after strength, but that foundational strength is the priority. As you advance, you switch the order because you need more mental clarity and attenuation for advanced skill and movement, and then strength can be done afterwards because you have developed the skill of strength building, which, make no mistake, is a skill in itself. Now then, as I said, the term ninja is slang for developing proficiency and skill, and here's where we start to enter that stage, the skill building stage. This is the third and fourth section of training. They can be arranged as needed here. We use katas to build transitions. Let's show a full-length handstand kata from level 1, just as an example here. This is what I consider actual training, putting disparate movements together into tight juxtaposition that forces transition, balance, coordination, dexterity, strength, flexibility, cardio, all at the same time. And we put that under time, like a 60-second time limit. It's designed specifically for complexity, whereas a cross-training hybrid style workout might slam together a bunch of different exercises and throw crazy volume into the mix for dozens or hundreds of reps, plus a stopwatch. In contrast, here, you're going all out for 60 seconds or less, and then doing that for reps. And this goes all the way up the ladder in 5 elements of training: free run, power moves, circ, handstand, and ninja strength. But you could try that level 1 handstand kata if you want. Just be safe. I mean what I say. Don't mistake videos for instruction. There are thousands upon thousands of people who have come through for consults with us, and that's the exact mistake they were making, and it just compounds over time. I'm not telling you how to train or anything, but just don't make that mistake. But so far, we've done warm-up, strength, and handstand kata. Now, also part of skills training is the individual skills portion. Maybe we don't even do kata on a particular day, maybe only skills, like learning a Valdez, and we spend 30 to 50 reps on that for 10 to 20 minutes. This is where some of that fine-tuning might be necessary, but this is exactly what every ninja I've trained goes through. Perhaps an advanced student is doing double backflips for 10 reps and the same amount of time that a beginner online adult student has Valdez assigned for. You could try Valdez too if you want. Add it to our little example training session here. Another time, a muscle up might be the skill that needs required. Strength can also be a skill when it is brand new and sits at your maximal strength threshold. In such a situation, you could add 50 reps of rows and 50 reps of push-up as supplemental work. Our students absolutely love it when our coaches give this to them as an extra bonus right after ninja strength kata work. The aim here was to show just a little bit of the sophistication that should go into your training. Nothing to overwhelm you, but enough to get you thinking perhaps a little more in depth about your own training and excited about what you might try or add in. The sky's the limit. Then on to flexibility. I'll get into more detail on this later, but for now, let's just keep it simple with 5-minute splits for each direction for 15 minutes total. No budging, no whining, just hard work. Staying put, Shaolin style from the Pac-Rim Mountains. And then the wins and victories. Huge problem here for about 90% of the people out there. They're just so negative. They complain about literally everything. This culture rubs off on me, and I have to check myself too. It's easy to look at the negative, what isn't right, what didn't go our way. Instead, just imagine nothing in life goes your way. Like a big tidal wave, all going in the opposite direction that you want. That huge wave hits you in the face and is pushing you back. Are you going to talk about it? No, you can't even breathe. You're taking in water. You let go and it carries you. You catch your breath and you begin seeing things differently. Soon you're surfing on top of the water, talking about how great great the ride is. That's where you want to be. But it's a mindset shift. It applies to your training and it will help you become a ninja in all areas of life. See you in the next video and in training soon.